श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वातरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनी व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुकारो अन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्या आचार्याय नचिकेतसे नमः. So we are in the Kaṭha Upaniṣad, second chapter, third section, and in the 7th and 8th mantra, 8 verses. I already mentioned you, Lord Death is focusing while giving the instruction to Nachiketas on contemplation. In Sanskrit, it is called Nididhyasanam. How to accomplish the self-revealing Brahma. Already something is evident to everybody, but everybody misses that. So how can one is possible to recognize the Atman? Is just focusing on this subject matter now. And he says, these 2 verses already told to Nachiketas in the first chapter, 3rd section, 10th and 11th verses. A slight difference, again he quoted that whenever something is repeated, it means that it is relevant. It should be understood properly. So we already saw few things in that verse. We will completely see in this class. So I will read both verses together and I will start the meaning according to the Shankara's commentary. So this is the verse. Verse number 7. Indriyebhyah param manaha manasas sattvam sattvad atma mahato avyaktamuttamam avyaktattu parah purushaha vyapako linga evacha yanyatva muchyate jnatum amritatvam cha gacchati. So indriyebhyah param manaha, from the known to the unknown, step by step, to see the all-pervasive Brahman or Atman in a systematic way. Tradition uses different steps for a seeker to accomplish this immortal, intrinsic nature of this universe. Here, from the known to the unknown, or superiority is graded in accordance with the subtle nature of the things. What is visible, from that visible thing, the traditional teacher or Lord Death is making somebody to focus behind the visible thing which is subtle than the visible. Thus, Indriyebhyah param manaha. Our senses, even though it is available for our perception, behind the senses, really the mind is the master for the senses. The senses are reported, they take the information and will give to the mind. So, mind is more subtle than the senses. Indriyebhyah param manaha. Then, mind means in Sanskrit, sankalpa atma, sankalpa vikalpatmagaha manaha. This is the definition for the mind, and I elaborately given certain explanations regarding mind. Mind means there will be a lot of options in regarding what is perceived. Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. It is not sure what I am perceiving, what I have to do in this situation, what is better for me, how can I identify the fake and original. All these things will come under mind. Wherever there is options in our life, mind plays the role, mind have the main role. When there is options, that means when I am in confusion, mind is available at least to know by me. What is mind? If you ask directly, whenever there is confusions in our life, their mind is directly obtained. Or in other time, it is there beyond each and every senses, but it is not directly obtained. It's an indirectly obtained because we are completely focusing on the senses and the contact with the objects. So, sankalpa vikalpa atmagam manaha. Where there is a lot of confusions and options in the life regarding what I am perceiving, what I am doing, what I am eating, all this comes under mind. Mind is more subtle than the senses. So, mind means continuous flow of thoughts, and each and every thought will contain one object from the external world plus consciousness. This is one thought. A thought is equal to one object from the external world plus my consciousness. If you take any thought, this will be the whole sum of a thought. Object plus consciousness is called thought. Continuous flow of thoughts means each and every thought will have different objects from the external world plus my consciousness. If I reduce the objects, if I subtract the object, then there will be only consciousness. This consciousness is discussed in our traditional scriptures, Vedantam. This consciousness is all pervasive. To focus into this consciousness, slowly a person who is extroverted, who is employing his senses towards the external world, he's been slowly withdrawn, he's been giving, he is instructed by the master, focus from the senses towards the mind. Indriyabhya param manaha. Mind is subtle than the senses. Then, from the mind, if you analyze Sattva-muttamam, here the Lord Shankara in his commentary says the word Sattvam should be understood as our intellect. In Sanskrit, buddhihi. So, buddhi, intellect is more subtle than the mind because always decision is better than the confusions. Decision is far better than options. We know that in our daily life. In practical, mind is equal to confusions and options. And buddhi, intellect means nishchayatmika buddhihi, one who takes the decision in our life. That instrument is called buddhi. Everything will fall under subtle body. Okay, buddhi, manas, mind, intellect, ego, memory, each and everything will fall under sukshma sharira, subtle body. So intellect is subtler than mind. Why? From the intellect only, we come to an proper conclusion on every situation. And intellect means mind itself become intellect if the options are known. Wherever there is options, then it is called mind. Wherever there is only decision, it is called intellect. So mind and intellect, from one standpoint, if you look into that, they are one. When there are options in our life, it seems to be mind. When there is only decision, it seems to be intellect. So itself will turn into intellect. For the sake of studying, we use two different words, mind and intellect. Intellect, one who takes proper decision. To take proper decision, we need a lot of factors. It differs from each and every situation. We will see what is intellect when it comes as a main topic in any other Upanishads. For the time being, this explanation is enough to proceed to the next word. Intellect is more subtler than the mind because intellect have the capacity to take proper decisions based on our experiences, based on our limitations, based on our situations, based on our capacities, based on our economical state. Everything will come to take a decision. That's why mind can only get confused of the situation, but intellect has to work to take a decision. Even to buy a car, You may be thinking for several months by looking each and every car. This have that, this have this. Goes and goes and on and on and on and on. At last, you arrive at a correct conclusion by looking towards your limitation. I don't have that much money to buy such a car, so I will go to a small car. Still, the small car should occupy at least 5 members, my wife and my 3 children. Then you will go a bit more uh, further. Like that, lot of factors are involved in a decision. That's why intellect is more subtler than mind. And buddhi, intellect, give more freedom. If you come to a proper decision, there will be freedom regarding oneself. There will be some inner space. Mind means one after another, there will be confusions or options. Intellect means you already took a decision. Then there will be a lot of inner space. Now, only to act upon that. Of course, free will is equal to a strong, convinced, enlightened intellect. Free will is nothing. Free will means one who come to know the reality about a factor or a fact, and he want to be stay with that. This is called free will. When you have the proper understanding about a thing, one who have total idea about a situation, you will be doing something very much different from others. And they say how much willpower he has, how much he has the stubborn to do the thing. So the free will and the willpower, you know, that is much less similar to intellect. Mostly the willpower is a convinced intellect. Once an intellect come to know various factors about a situation or an incident or something you want to do, and you take a decision when nobody expect that you will take that decision, that is called free will. Free will is due to the total understanding about a situation or a thing, that is called free. So intellect have a big role to play in our daily life. And eh, one should know that intellect is not something you will get by doing meditation or simply sitting under a tree. Intellect involves a lot of understanding regarding what subject matter you want in your life. Intellect is not something you do some meditation under a tree and it will come to you. No. Intellect means a lot of understanding, vivekam, discrimination about certain things. So you go on and on. So now come to the point what Lord Death told to Nachiketas. A senses are inferior to the mind, and the mind is inferior to the intellect. Intellect is more subtler than mind. Lot of things are there regarding intellect. For the time being, I have given simple explanation. And again, there is something subtle than intellect. What is that? Satvadadi Mahan, manifested form of the Creator. This is something more subtle than intellect, which is available for a person to understand, not to see, which is available for a person to understand. In our text, this manifested form of this creator is called as Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha. Lots of names are there. No need to get confused. For the time being, you just understand the manifested form of the creator. How we can understand this manifested form of the creator? If you look into the creation, you will see when you analyze each and everything in the creation, lot of genius is employed, lot of kaigabalam, your physical power is employed in order to create certain thing. How much physical power you have to employ in one thing, for example, you want to make something in the kitchen itself, how much physical power you have to employ, cutting the vegetables, adding masalas, boiling, cooking, washing, etc., etc. Similarly, if you look into the creation, you will see different things, trees, birds, animals, everything. From here, we can understand that there is a manifested form of creator in order to employ physical power, in order to employ the, the mental power, the genius to create everything with a beautiful form. Thus, we can understand that each and everything is created by a manifested form of the creator. He is more powerful compared to our intellect. So senses I can see or I can perceive. Mind I can partially perceive. If somebody helped me, I can perceive. Then intellect. Intellect also means object plus consciousness like mind, but it is more subtle, more near to the accomplished self, intellect. But intellect is inferior when we compared to the manifested form of the creator, Hiranyagarbha. Even look at my body. There are 206 bones are being properly arranged. One heart is kept in a proper way. Lot of nerves are there. The system is working all the time. Blood is flowing. Breathing is going on. My ears are properly working. My nose is properly working. My mouth is properly working. My ears are properly working. All these things are in a well-arranged manner. From this itself, this manifested form of creator, one should understand. This manifested form is being taken as a Lord in a temple or in our religious places. Anything which is available for our prayer is called a manifested form of the creator. The story don't stop here. We are going more further. But for the time being, you understand properly. Manifested form of the creator is called here Mahan. In somewhere it is called Mahat. Here it is called Mahan Atma. This Atma is not talking about the ultimate self. It is talking about the manifested form of the creator. We can understand properly, we cannot perceive directly like what we perceive in the external world. Manifested form of the creator is being praised and offered prayers and etc. by the people according to the belief in their own religions. This manifested form of creator is being worshipped by all religions in the world. But our tradition don't stop here. This is inferior when we compare to the unmanifested form of Creator. Manifested form is inferior when we compare with the unmanifested form of the Creator. Mind is familiar in understanding a thing which has a form and a name. From the childhood onwards, we are familiar to understand a thing with their form and their name. Nama Rupe. Wherever there is something, if somebody utter a word and make me understand what is that meaning of the word, mind can grasp easily. That is why manifested form of the Creator is worshipped in the temples. Manifested form is worshipped in the form of Jesus in Christmas. Manifested form is worshipped in the form of Allah, Buddha, Jaina, etc., etc. Any religion you take, no need to get confused. Manifested form of a creator. Each and everything is a manifested form of creator when we look into the genius and the care in making a product, because he's all pervasive. Creator is not something sitting in the heaven and a body guarding a whip in their hand. No, all pervasive creator is well placed everywhere in this creation. So, if you want to see the manifested form of the creation, you look into yourself. Who given this order for the blood to go throughout the body? Who given the command to digest the food inside the body? Who given the command to see the vision through the eyes? Who given the command for the nose to smell and understand the smell and fragrance of the things? From this itself, we can understand the Swami, the owner who is sitting inside the body, is the manifested form of the Creator. Being not easy to understand oneself from the birth itself, we give a certain deity as the manifested form. And people are very much convinced about that. It is very easy to make them, this is the Lord of the creation. And it's very easy for them to meditate or to do worship, etc., etc. Because mind is familiar with the names and forms, but it is inferior. We don't believe in the manifested form of the Lord as the ultimate solution or the ultimate destination. Remember, we don't believe as an ultimate destination as our spiritual journey, this manifest of Creator. Why? Anything which is manifested will be time bound, space bound. Desha Kala Vastu Parichetaha. In a space, it should occupy. That means it's a limited being. In a time, it should come into manifest. It's a time bound and in a form of an object. For the human being, their created will be a human form. For the donkeys, their Lord will be in the form of a donkey. We cannot deny that. If you ask a donkey, suppose if you can communicate with a donkey and you ask the donkey, who is your Lord? He say the biggest donkey, you know. So anything which comes to manifested form, have lot of limitations. Lot of limitations. So don't believe in the manifested form of the Lord, because manifested form means a limited living being. That is why it is inferior when we compare to the unmanifested form of the Creator. This is being told here in the next sentence by the Lord Death. Mahadaha avyaktam uttamam. When we compare the Mahat, the manifested form, unmanifested form is more subtler than the manifested form. Like a plant and a sprout. When the seed is right in front of me, I don't see anything inside the seed. If you pour some water, putting in the ground, after a few days, you will see the sprout of a plant. After 1 year, you will see a plant. After 2 years, you will see a big tree. After 5 years, it's a big banyan tree. From this small seed, which was unmanifested condition, from to the manifested condition. So all these things are hiding inside the seed. So unmanifested form of the creator is more subtler, more superior when we compare to the manifested form of the creator. It is been called here avyaktam. Vyaktam means what can be grasped by the senses, what is perceived by the senses, what is being understood by the senses. Opposite is which cannot be perceived by the senses, avyaktam, which cannot be understood by the senses, which cannot be, which is not available for the senses. It is called avyaktam. Na vyaktam, avyaktam. Because something which is unmanifested will not be available for our perception. That is more subtler, that is more superior when we compare with the manifested form of a thing. This is been told here. Then the story continues again. In the next verse, we already read this. Avyaktatu parah purushaha. The unmanifested form is a superimposition on the eternal Brahman. This unmanifested form is only for the sake of studying. Unmanifested form is not real. Unmanifested form is just a superimposition. How can we understand a superimposition? A husband and a wife living in a house. Husband is an employee in a school. He is a teacher. When he goes to the school, everybody calls him teacher, good morning. Teacher, welcome. Teacher, can I do this? Teacher, what this is the doubt for me. There, nobody calls him husband or nobody calls him father. He is called as teacher. Similarly, the all-pervasive Brahman, which is not subject to any kind of limitations, any kind of impurities, when it is there in the creation, with respect to creation, we call as the unmanifested form. Like teacher is a superimposition on a human being. Similarly, on the eternal Brahman, the unmanifested form is a superimposition. This unmanifested form being the base for the manifested form. The manifested form is the base for the intellect. Intellect is the base for the mind. Mind will be the base for the senses. So senses are superimposition on the mind. Mind is a superimposition on the intellect. Intellect is a superimposition for the intellect is a superimposition in the manifested form. Manifested form is a superimposition on the unmanifested form, and the unmanifested form is superimposed on the real Brahman. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, the intrinsic nature of myself, which is the eternal truth, which is eternal consciousness, which is the eternal form of happiness, or which is the eternal form of beginningless. This is my real nature. On this Brahman, on this Atman, on this self, which is eternal consciousness, this unmanifested form is superimposed. So here it is told like this, Avyaktad tu. Indeed, this unmanifested form is inferior when we compare to the Paraha Purushaha. Purushaha, a common word used for this self or this Atman or this Brahman. What is meant by Purushaha? Purau Ushati idi Purushaha. One who abides, one who resides in this body is called Purushaha. There is something in this body. That's why it's alive. It's not like a wood, a piece of wood. It's alive. It can digest the food. It can see the football match. It can listen to the song. It is sentient. How it is sentient? There is somebody to make it sentient. Thus, one who abides in the body, Purau Ushati. Puram means a shrine, a temple, a place where something can abide or reside. So this is called Puram. In this Puram, in this temple, there is something abiding that is eternal. Never coming to, never subject to death or birth. That's called eternal. That eternal being is the superior of all. Senses are superimposed on this eternal Brahman. Mind is superimposed on this eternal Brahman. Intellect is superimposed on this eternal Brahman. So whenever you say mind, it means there is consciousness. The consciousness only will be in the form of an external thing. Suppose you think about a pot, your consciousness is only becoming a pot buddhi, a pot thought. When you think about a bird thought. Their bird doesn't exist. Only consciousness remains. So mind is superimposed on this consciousness. Senses are superimposed on this consciousness. Intellect is superimposed on this consciousness. And also the manifested form is also whatever I perceive in the world, I take into my mind or buddhi, there also only consciousness remains. Anything manifested in this world, whether it is our Lord, whether it is a bird, whether it is an animal, it's all inside our consciousness. Another thing, after the manifestation, that being inferior to the unmanifested form, when you don't think anything and you are just sitting quietly in a place and you don't know what to think and you are just blank, that is called a manifested form. Or when you are sleeping, there is intellect, there is mind, everything is under control. It's all abiding in the all-pervading mind. You are doing nothing. You don't speak nothing. You don't see nothing. It doesn't mean that after waking up, when you come to the waking state, you don't do anything. Everything is there. Everything will be coming out. Your likes, your dislikes, your pressures, your anger, everything will come out. But for the time being, it's an unmanifested condition in the consciousness. But this unmanifested condition is also a superimposition on the all-pervading. Thus, all-pervading Brahman is the center of each and everything what Lord Death described right now. Indriyam, Manas, Buddhi, Mahan means Mahat, Avyaktam. All these superimpositions have one single substratum as the base. It is Purushaha. Purau Ushati iti Purushaha. One who abides in this physical body. Or Purishete iti Purushaha. One who resides, one who stays in this body, lay down in this body. It's called Purushaha. And he is Vyapakaha. Vyapakaha means all pervading. He is not only residing in the body. When we say that, it will become a limitation for the listener who is first time listening this Vedanta. For the beginners, everything is a confusion. Suppose first time if you are listening Vedanta, how can I become eternal? This question will be there every time. I have certain diseases. I am already taking some tablets. I have this type of problem. Anytime I can go from this world. And the books, traditional teachers are talking in keeping the scriptures in front of them that we are eternal, nityam. For a beginner, lot of confusions will be there, can be there, but doesn't matter. All the confusions will slowly go away in course of time. Listen again and again and again. No other way. We have mistaken ourselves something other than what we are. An error or a mistake can only be wiped out by getting the right information. Right information can only get through listening. That's why I told you listen again and again and again. No other way. Cutting the grass of the garden will not help you to get the proper information. Eating something, walnuts or fig, it will not help you to get the right information. Coming to India will not help you to get the right information. You have to listen the traditional teacher about yourself. Then only slowly the mistakes will be vanishing. That's why listening is important. Shravanam. Because I committed already a mistake. A mistake means an error. Error can be only eliminated by giving right information. Right information is always in the form of listening. No other way. That is why Shravanam is important. And Lord Dutta says that substractum cannot be understood with one class or few classes. One should go thoroughly according to the steps explained in the text and given by the spiritual teachers. One step after another step after another step, one should go slowly. This is being told here. The substractum is Purushaha, the self. That self is superimposed as unmanifested form, manifested form, in the form of intellect, in the form of mind, in the form of senses. What is appearing is this Brahman, the self. We see as senses, but actually it is self. Thus, if someone comes to know, yam nyatva, one who knows in this manner, how in this manner, when I say, here Shankara, in his commentary, he says that yam nyatva acharyataha, in the form of keeping a traditional teacher for the instruction. Study under somebody. Make use of this life. We have a very short lifespan, 60 years or 100 years. 1/3 we sleep. 1/3 we will do some job and cooking, leisure time, watching cricket, everything. So almost 8 plus 8, 16 hours gone in one day. Another 8 hours, I do my personal things, bathroom, toilet, my dress, my bike, my car. Almost 4 hours I will spend for myself. And another 4 hours only rest, and I will go for a movie, I will go for outing, this, that, very small lifespan human being have. Still, we miss the obvious. That is why go to a traditional teacher and listen at least daily 1 hour. Start with 1 hour. After that, 2 hours daily. Because knowing about oneself is the only goal to be taken in one's life. No other goals should be taken as primary goals. Getting married, getting children are secondary goals. It's okay. I am not against that. Have some but fun with your lover, couple, partner. Everything is okay. But they are not the prior things to be done in the life. Want to visit Israel, want to visit US, want to visit Cuba. You go anywhere. But they are not the prayer things to keep in the mind. I should be freed from this Janana Marana Samsara. From the jaws of death and birth cycle, I should be freed. I should not take another birth here for suffering and worries. So what I should do? Mistake is the main cause for my worries. So I should eradicate the mistake by listening to the right information from the traditional teacher about oneself. No other place you can get this information also. Everybody will say after death one should go to heaven. So do good things here, even though you are doing certain wrong things. It's okay. They will get forgive. They will get forgive. They will forgive you. But you do good things here. Then only you can go to heaven and you can sit with the Creator. All other things promote only some inferior status of a human being. Already I am limited. Already I am comparing myself to somebody. Then here it is told here, you can go to heaven. Heaven is also a place for a lot of worries, which I will talk to you later. So here, at least 1 hour or 2 hour daily, one should listen to the traditional teachers. That's what Shankara told here. How can one can realize about oneself? Acharyataha, from the traditional teachers, Shastradaha cha, through Shastra also, Muchyate Janduhu, a human being will be freed from all kinds of worries and limitations. Avidyadi hridaya grindibhi jivaneva patitaha abhi shariri amrutatvam cha gacchati. Even though, even though this body will get destroyed or destructed, still the person will not take in another body. He is already freed while living. Patitaha abhi sharire amrutatvam. While living in the body, sharire amrutatvam cha gacchati. He will be immortal. She will be immortal because he came to know that superimposed body is subject to destruction. But what is there for the superimposition? That substratum is immovable, unchangeable, cannot be modified, cannot be fainted, no impurities. That Brahman is me. That consciousness which is not moving, which will not take another body. Saha alinkaha. Lingam means some indications, some marks. It's very interesting that in this empirical world, if you want to know somebody, there should be some indicators. The color of the shirt, the style of the hair, the chappals, the footwears, the car, the paint of the house. All these things will play a crucial role for understanding somebody. These things are called lingam, an indicator, an indicatory mark. From this indicatory mark only we come to know a thing as it is. Without an indicatory mark, without an indicator, without any kind of data which we collect, without that, no, no possibility for understanding something. The other thing is that whatever thing it's available for your perception to through the indicator, through some data, or all anatma, other than you. Anything. Body has certain indicators. That only make us confirm that whether it's a male or female. And trees are having indicators. Some we see this is an orange tree by looking towards the orange fruit. Like this, anything to understand properly, we need indicatory marks. Anything we understood properly by the indicators are not me, not Atman, not Brahman. It is only something which is subject to coming into being and going to destruction. Adi Andavat Eva. Because it is Anatma, other than Atma. Whatever indications you get from this world and you come to know a thing, scientists are making lot of analysis from the sand, from a skeleton, even dinosaurs egg is available. How they understood properly, lot of analysis they done. When you get something while digging the house or while digging a ground, you will give for analysis, correct? Thus, we arrive at a conclusion that there were something living here or something is this. Like this, indicatory marks are eligible, are useful to understand a thing which is a part of creation, not other than the creation. Anything, any indicatory mark can only make you understand something which is already available, which is limited, which is not the Atman. The consciousness is all pervasive without having any indicatory mark because it is invisible, arupavat, which is not available for perception. Nobody can see, nobody can perceive, but it is self-evident. Why? I being conscious, if somebody asks me, are you there here? Yes. I say, I am here. How do you come to know? I am consciousness. This consciousness is being understood properly by me. So, even though there is no external indications, this Atman is self-evident to each and every sentient being. All others doesn't have the medium for understanding the Atman. A wood piece of log doesn't have a mind or intellect to see what is Atman. So, alinkaha, something which is understood without having any kind of indications. Anything which is having an indicatory mark is subject to destruction, subject to limitation. It will fall under the creation, which is something beyond the creation, is always alinkaha, without having any kind of indicatory marks. It is established by each and every human being. Self-evident, self-effulgence. Both are. Thus, alinkaha, this purushaha is alinkaha. He is not understood by anybody. Alinkaha eva, vyapakaha, all pervading. So, the whole meaning, just I will give in a proper way. Both slokas, indriyebhya param manaha. Mind is superior to senses. Manasah paramuttamam. Intellect is superior to manas. Sattvadadi mahanatma. Manasaha sattvam. The manifested form is more superior for the intellect. Sattvadadi mahan atma. Then mahataha avyaktam uttam. Unmanifested form is more superior than the manifested form. Then next verse. Avyaktat parah purushaha. Indeed, this unmanifested form is inferior for the paraha, the ultimate purushaha, the consciousness which is abiding in one's own body. Vyapakaha, both are adjective, purushaha, for the purusha. Vyapakaha, sarvavyapi, all pervading. Alinkaha doesn't have any indicatory marks. Indicatory marks means it is different from all other things. When you say it is a banyan tree, means a small fruits of banyan tree will make sure that it's a banyan tree. Banyan tree is not a mango tree, it's not an acacia, it's not a guava, nothing. It's only a banyan tree. There are varieties of trees are there. So whenever there is an indicatory mark, it means that you are only that, you are nothing other than that. When you put a doctor, this and that, he is only a doctor. He is not a car mechanic. He is not a chef. He is not a building engineer. He is not a automobile company owner. He is only a doctor of ENT. Thus, indicatory marks will confine the person in a circle. It gives certain limitations. It is only that it is not other than this indicatory. Thus, when we say there is no indicatory marks, means there is no limitation. It is pervading everywhere in the form of formless. Formless Brahman is all pervading. And we can see that's why it's self-evident. I can understand I am here without asking anybody, without employing my senses. And I am effulgent. I can read, I can talk to you. I'm not inert. So self-evident and self-effulgent Atman is my intrinsic nature, which is alinkaha. No another indicatory marks. It doesn't have any indicatory marks. Alinkaha, vyapakaha, all pervading. After knowing this, what will, this is the final sentence which I have to explain you. Yanyatva, after knowing this, I am not this body. Instead of I am this body, I came to know that I am this Sarvavyapi Alinkaha Brahman, the all-pervading one who doesn't have any indicatory marks, that Brahman, which is the cause of this entire creation. I am the cause of entire creation. I am this Brahman, the biggest of everything. Even though I am confined in a body, I am not a body. I am not only inside the body, I am everywhere in the form of consciousness. Once a person comes to know like this about oneself, Muchyade, being freed from the death and birth cycle, he or she will not take any birth because they got the correct information. They are not human beings. They came to know I am the Brahman. After knowing this, Jantuhu Amrutatvam cha gacchati. That human being will be taken into Amrutatvam, immortality. So before that, he's not mortal. Before that also it was immortal. But the point is, nobody told me I am immortal. And I took myself, I am this body who is subject to death. Thus, I considered myself, even though I am immortal, because of mistake, I consider myself I am mortal. When I come to the traditional teacher, he or she told, you are not mortal. Your body may be mortal, but you are immortal by nature. Thus, recognition of oneself is being presented by the Lord Death to Nachiketas. Similarly, as a human being, I recognize myself that I am immortal, even though I am holding a body. I am endowed with a body. I am free to have a body because I am all pervasive. Any all pervasive thing will have certain superimposition. Myself, I am all pervasive. I am superimposed as a human body. Nothing wrong on that. And live a life according to your wishes and desires. Whatever your body feels to do, you eat, you drink, no problem. Don't go against what is not to, don't go don't go towards wrong things. May one stick with the traditional things because it's helping you a lot. If you don't give more importance when somebody is supporting or helping you are losing a situation where you can come back from the death and birth cycle. After a period of time, nobody will be there to help you. Now you can listen, you can talk, so you can listen at least. So here it is told, Muchyade, he is freed, one who came to know that I am not the senses, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the manifested form, I am not the unmanifested form. These are all superimposition. This superimposition is only an apparent reality on the real thing, what we call Atman, that Purusha. That Purusha is me, that immortal consciousness. After knowing this, a person get liberated immediately. While living in the body itself, a person is liberated. He came to know that I am this immortal Brahman. I am not this body who is having lot of limitations. Thus, once a person comes to know I am immortal, that human being will get the immortality forever. Already I am immortal, and my teacher advised me you are immortal, and I got immortality. This should be understood in this manner. It's not that after studying or after coming to online class you became immortal. No, you are already immortal. Somebody is making you to recognize that you are immortal. Lord Death is making us recognizing that I am immortal. Jantuhu amrtatvam cha gacchati. A human being who's studying under a traditional teacher and understanding what is told in the scriptures comes to know the intrinsic nature of a human being. Thus he become immortal in this world and get freed from the death and birth cycle. This is the meaning of this verse. I will read the next verse and we will conclude the class and we will explain in the next class. Then Lord Death says, number 9, न सन्दृशी तिष्ठति रूपमस्य न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनं हृदा मनीषा मनसा विक्लुप्तः य एतद्विदुः अमृताः ते भवन्ति. We will look into this verse in the next class. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahishah Gubhramanebhya Shupamastu Nityam Loga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasyashabini Deshoyam Choparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Suginaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhagvavet Satoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.